Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you have a chance to watch this. Welcome back to Unit 9 Functions. We're on Unit 9, Lesson 2, Functions, Graphs, and Equations. Let's get going here. I know I'll be successful today if I can successfully determine whether or not a graph or equation is a function. Let's look at some examples here about talking about independent and dependent variables really quick. The number of hours past noon, we're going to call that the independent variable, x. The amount of snow since noon is y. That means that the amount of snow depends on the number of hours. Is that a function? That is a function. Let's look at another one. Number of weeks you have been saving money. Again, independent. The amount of money that has been saved is our dependent variable. Is that a function? Of course it's a function. If I save for 3 weeks, that's going to say how much money I have earned. It's not going to have two different numbers because I'm only going to save one amount. And the height of an 8th grader, again, is our independent. Our shoe size of an 8th grader is our dependent. Is that a function? That is not a function. You can have two 8th graders of the same height that have two different shoe sizes. Again, that's just a couple independent, dependent variables. We'll get into more of that in a new lesson. Hey, remember, for a function to be a function, every input, there is exactly one output. For every input, there is exactly one output. Let's see if this is a function. All right, let's graph this. Our x and our y, 1, 0. We're going to go 1 and 0. Okay, 2 and 1 is our next coordinate. 3, 2, and then 4. 2 stays there. Okay, notice how this kind of just goes up and then over. We can probably predict what's going to happen next, but we don't want to. We want to know, is this a function? Looking at this, for every input, is there exactly one output? That is true. Yes, there are two outputs that are the same, but their inputs are different. So that is a function. Okay, we graphed it. You can kind of see what that looks like on a graph and how we can tell it is a function or not. We're going to look at some more examples. We do that by doing what's called the vertical line test. The vertical line test is a visual way to determine if a curve is or is not a graph. Okay, look at our line here. Our red is our graph and the blue is our vertical line test on this one. We want to know with this vertical line test, does our graph, in this case our circle, touch this vertical line in more than one spot? And look, it touches here and it touches here. That means that this is not a function. Not a function, because it touches the vertical line test, touches two spots at the same time. As we keep going, we check this one. Well, on this vertical line, it touches one, touches one, it touches one, it touches one, and nowhere in this graph does a vertical line touch 2 points at the same time. Is that a function? Yes, it is a function. Same thing here as we check it. We got our blue is our graph this time. And our vertical is up and down, and notice it touches once, it touches twice. That means it is not a function, not a function. And finally, we got our blue graph here. We got our red vertical lines. Notice that it touches one time here, touches one time here, one time, one time, one time. It only touches one spot at a time, never more than once in a single spot. Yes, that is a function. So what we do with that, if we don't have lines there, we just take this and we kind of go over and look, it touches two spots in multiple spaces. Touches two spots in multiple spaces. Does it touch more than one spot? No, one spot every time. One spot every time. And we can move that back and forth. And that's what we do. Typically, if you're at home, you're going to use a pencil to see that vertical line test. Okay, that's kind of our intro into functions and graphs. Check back for part 2 of our video. I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter than normal just so that you can focus back. If you have any questions so far, let me know. Check back for part 2.